Hi there, and welcome to today's episode of A Different Way of Seeing, a podcast where we talk all things disability. I'm your host, Lois, and today we're going to be talking to Sriram Ganesh from the company. Is it Luminade? I'm not actually certain that I've got the name of the company 100% right, and I'm so sure that Sriram will correct me and give us the proper name. But we're going to be talking about an app that is being launched in the next few weeks called Lumen, which is going to be a fantastic tool for those, well, for many of us, not just those who are blind and visually impaired, but for many people to use to increase their productivity. So, Shriram, welcome to A Different Way of Seeing. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Lois. Very excited to be here with you. And just to be clear on that, I know it can be a little confusing. The name of the company is Luminade. It's like lemonade with a lumen,
Ah,
and Lumen is our first product.
super. Thank you. Yes, I do remember. I saw that on your website was luminade.com. And I wondered about that, about the spelling being ADE and not AID. So
Yeah.
thank you for clarifying that.
And I just want to, sorry, but just a quick clarification because I don't want users to go to the wrong website. It's Luminade, Luminade.ai, not .com. Just a quick clarification.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll repeat that towards the end of our conversation just to make sure that everyone's got it correctly. And we'll also put it into the episode notes so that the links will be easily accessible for everyone.
Great. Right.
So, Shriram, I've spoken to you and I've been following a little bit about the work that you're doing, but there's a very strong, compelling story behind the work that you're doing. And maybe as a way of starting off, you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yeah, sure. I grew up in India, in the south of India, in a city called Bangalore. That's where I'm from. I did most of my schooling and education there. Uh, uh, some of my early kind of inspirations was when I was 13 years old. I got access to my first computer, which was a fantastic moment. One of the first things that I saw was a game about Sesame Street, which was I was a little older than what that game was designed for. But that being said, this is the first time I had seen something like that, and it absolutely blew my mind. It really sparked a bunch of curiosity in my mind in terms of how how people were building this, like what goes behind building such games, which seems so much fun. And that curiosity really led me to wanting to build my own video games, which led me to study video game development in university. And that was the beginning of my career. I've actually been in the gaming and AI space for a long time right now. And after I finished university, I spent a few years in the game industry and then moved back to India and started my first company, which was in the AI space. And we built, even though AI was not as mature as it is today, and we hear so much about what's going on in the AI space. 10 years ago when I kind of started, it was this niche thing that hadn't really been proven, and a small group of people were kind of working on it on different parts. That company worked on AI for real estate, retail, and eventually it kind of merged with my passion, which was in education. I had generally not been a great student in during my school years, and I was fairly distracted. And so the whole idea, because of my background in not having fond memories of my education, while at the same time being in the game industry, pushed me to explore what existed in the middle of the two of it, which was that could we build educational products that utilized gaming, AI, to really make it a fun and engaging experience for kids. Because I was a very firm believer that the problem with education really was a motivation challenge, which is if you motivate kids in the right way, I think we'd be surprised in terms of what they can do. And I spent 4 years beyond that with in collaboration with Disney, building a bunch of AI and gaming related learning products for kids, which allowed them to kind of learn by doing. Uh, my parallel story is that I've always had myopia as a kid and I've had trouble seeing. But when I turned 30 is when I realized that this was more than myopia, because even with glasses on, I wasn't able to see very well. And I was diagnosed for a low vision condition called cone rod dystrophy. It affects my central vision. Reading, recognizing faces is became a little challenging, and it's a progressive condition. So my vision has been deteriorating, and so a combination of my experience as well as my new reality, as I call it, which is that I was able to do things with my eyes fairly well, and then that ability was slowly diminishing away, and it really led me to think what uh, what what existed as solutions in today's world for people like me, and that was the inspiration for my current and new company.
So from there, you've now spoken about moving into the AI space and particularly developing Lumen with your company, Luminade. Tell us about what Lumen is and what it does, because this is what I think is so exciting to understand a little bit more about the actual product that you're developing.
Absolutely. And maybe I can take a second to give a sense of what existed before Lumen to tell you about why we decided to build Lumen. When I realized that I have this progressive low vision condition, my first question to my retinal specialist was, "All right, so how do I fix this?" And the answer was there isn't really a fix for it, because it's a gene condition, and that left me pretty perplexed and quite shocked, because I was like, "What do you mean by there's no like,
Yeah.
is there like, is there some pill or that I can take, or some glasses that I can wear that can fix my condition?" And it turned out that there wasn't, and that's how I learned about low vision as a condition. I wasn't even aware of it. And when I went deeper into understanding how do people with such conditions go by day to day, interacting with the digital world, the physical world, especially the digital world, because you want to be able to communicate with your loved ones. You want to be able to be independent and view different websites and do all of these things by yourself without the need of someone sort of constantly being there. And it really like, and the tools that were shown to me were tools like screen readers and magnifiers and text to speech tools, which I thought were quite fantastic, because I met members within the community who were really benefiting from those tools. But I also felt that for someone who was losing their vision later in life, where we had to learn a new skill, those tools took a fair amount of time to learn. I tried Braille, I tried screen readers, and I'm still not very good at it, and I could not get pretty good at it. And so the idea that came about was that clearly audio as an interface works for this audience, because so many of our tools involve audio. But I did feel like those tools could use a refresh, especially for those who just want to pick up a new tool and just go with it, and not have to spend days or weeks or months learning it. And so the idea of Lumen came about as, what if you can just talk to an app that almost felt like someone who was sitting right next to you with access to your computer. So you would then just tell this person, "Hey, I'm interested in looking at my emails," and the person should reply back, and you should be able to say, "Hey, archive this," or reply to that, and it should just do it. And the And that was the core motivation. And so so what we've built is Lumen is a voice interface. Think about it like Alexa, but it's on your phone, and it connects to services like your emails, and then it just allows you to naturally converse and get your emails done. Of course, email is just the beginning, and we're launching a lot more tools under the hood for this interface.
So, who would you say is your target audience? Who's going to benefit from a product like Lumen? Who will be able to use it?
When we started, and we're only about 90 days old as a product, and so we're learning a lot. When we started, we I was I like to say I was patient zero. I wanted to sort of scratch my own itch. The product had to be able to make my life meaningfully better, which is what would eventually give me the confidence to go take it to other members of the community, because I'm trying to
Mm.
show them that I have a similar experience and it's working for me, and that's why I'm asking you to try it out. And uh, users who we are finding benefit the most from it are users who have vision loss later in life, maybe in their 20s or their 30s or even later than that. So many users with, say, age-related macular degeneration
Yeah.
or other progressive kind of conditions, benefit a lot, because it's really it takes a few seconds to get used to it and jump into it, right? We've also found a fair amount of interest from users who suffer from neurodivergent conditions like ADHD, dyslexia, who find it very hard or very tough to sort of go through long emails and really pay attention. Audio as an interface is a lot more soothing and calm. You can have a conversation. Emails can come to you one at a time, and you can take action one at a time. They really benefit from it. We've also really been seeing a lot of interest from users who are much older, who don't want to learn a very complex tool. They just want something that they can just pick up and do and not think about reading a manual or get stuck. For example, with screen readers, sometimes we've all experienced being stuck in different websites, and not being able to kind of re-anchor ourselves, right? Like we always ask the question, "Where am I? I don't know where I am in the middle of
Mm.
these jumbled words and sentences." Especially if we get a really long email, it's just like, it just instantly gives me anxiety. I'm like, I'm definitely going to miss something. I also have anxiety of when I reply back, I might make mistakes, and then someone else is going to look at it and think I've done a sloppy job, which I also do not want them to think. And so the fact that Lumen lets you just talk naturally, you can ask it to stop, you can interrupt it, you can say, "Hey, clean that up for me," you can say, "Just summarize it for me." That natural interface both makes it easier, but also gives you less anxiety and gives you a sense of empowerment. And so these are the users who are currently benefiting from it, but we are honestly getting surprised as we roll it out. Uh, People like to share it with their friends and family, and we initially thought it would be most beneficial for people with disabilities, but we are really seeing that there's a much broader audience base that is interested.
In the usability side, I mean, are there a string of specific commands that you need to learn in order to work with Lumen, or is it more intuitively able to chat to you and take actions?
That's a great question. You should just be able to chat with it the way you and I are chatting right now. And that was the core of the design, which is that you should just come in, not have to remember a bunch of stuff, and just speak naturally, get responses, and do that. So Lumen, the conversation with Lumen, we try to mimic as close to a conversation with a real person.
Would it be possible for us perhaps to get a quick demonstration of seeing
Absolutely.
Lumen in action?
Absolutely. There's no better way than to just show it. Let me do that right now. You're going to hear Lumen in a second.
Good morning, Sriram.
Hey Lumin, how's it going?
Hey, Sriram, going well, Lane.
Sorry.
Here. What do you want to do?
Can you tell me what's new in my inbox?
Hey, you've got 13 unread emails in your work inbox. Top ones. Then Athena sent a recap with pricing and next steps, and then followed up with video copied and a security overview attached. Frank Brody replied to your catch up and says he'd like to check Lumen out. Vicky Casey came in through the contact form saying they signed up for the beta, but never got a link. There's a test flight build available for Lumen staging on iPhone. And Nicole at Bryant Immigration confirmed receipt and resent the intake link, with a couple of related docket-wise portal emails right below that. After that, there's a system alert from Lumen, one cold outreach email, and two newsletters. Where do you want to start?
What are the newsletters about?
Two newsletters. One is from Lenny's newsletter about building a steady AI habit, basically a beginner-friendly routine for learning and using AI regularly. The other is from a 16Z speedrun about blogging as a founder, how to use writing to get attention and tell your story. Want me to archive those or read one?
Yeah, you know what? I think I've already read those two. Could you please archive those?
Archive those two. Next up, do you want the Athena thread, Frank's reply, or the contact form message from Vicky?
You know what? I'll get to those later. Do you have a contact from, do you have Lewis's email address?
I'm not seeing a Lewis in your recent contacts. If you want, say their last name too, and I'll check more carefully.
That's okay. You know what? I would like to send a new email to Mikhail.
Go ahead.
I want to say, hey, Mikhail, I'm actually writing to you while I'm in a podcast with Lois. It's quite exciting. And I just wanted to kind of show how I can make mistakes during an email, but it turns out quite nicely at the end of it.
Mhm.
I'm done.
Draft from Mikhail Markini. I wrote, I want to say, hey, Mikhail, I'm actually writing to you while I'm in a podcast with
Could you please
Louise. It's quite
clean?
exciting.
Can you clean this up a little bit?
Draft from Mikhail Markini. I wrote, hey, Mikhail, I'm writing to you while I'm on a podcast with Louise, which is pretty exciting. I mainly wanted to show how I can make mistakes while dictating an email and still have it come together nicely by the end. Best, Shriram ready to send?
Uh, do you have a subject line for me that you've added?
Yeah, I added writing to you from a podcast. If you want, I can change it.
That's okay. Please send it.
That's sent. What else can I help with?
You know what, Lumen? There's a new feature that we haven't shown yet, which I'd love to kind of announce on this podcast. Do you, do you mind speaking to me in a different language, maybe French?
Ouais, ouais, je peux faire ça. Je peux parler en français pendant ce moment du podcast. Tu veux juste un petit passage en français ou tu veux que je bascule entièrement en français à partir de maintenant?
Thank you. My French is not very good, but I'll talk to you later, Lumen. This is great. That was it.
Great. Thanks so much. That was fascinating. I can see so much potential for this. Um, and some of the questions that immediately spring to mind, there's some around usability and functionality around things like, is this going to be integrated with the calendar so that you can use it to set up appointments or integrate appointments that have been set up on email? Have you got that sort of thing in mind in terms of functionality? Can you talk to us a little bit about what the plans are for the next steps?
Absolutely. There's a lot coming up. So the first 3 months for us was really to set up the base infrastructure to be able to kind of build on top of. We feel like we're there now, and our users, our early users, are seeing a fair amount of value just using email. But our users want more. They've been very clear that they love the voice interface and they want more. It's almost like the voice interface is a door that takes you into a place. They want more functionality inside that room. And so what we are adding, what's coming up is support for multiple email accounts. So users who have maybe a work email and a personal email can add many emails to the system. We are also adding calendar support. We're also adding, and so with the calendar support, you should be able to schedule meetings. If you have an email with a meeting invite, you should be able to accept the invite. Lumen will also tell you if you have a conflicting meeting and recommend other slots. All of that is functionality is what we're building right now, and that's coming up with support for Google as well as Microsoft Calendar. And lastly, we're also adding support for Google Drive. So if you have documents and other sort of Google Drive or OneNote kind of documents within your email or that you kind of want to interact with voice, we're adding support for that as well. So all of this is coming up within the next few weeks.
In terms of the voice that you're using, is there only a single voice available, or do you have a selection of voices? What are your plans on that?
This is a great question. We Right now we do have a single voice. We do have multiple voices that we are internally playing with, and maybe in the next few weeks we will give users a selection of voices. It's clearly something that they're asking for a lot, and so it's coming up.
And in terms of just the demonstration that you gave us, for one thing, I understand my name is a little bit difficult. It's one of those names that AI does struggle with. Would you be able to go into that email and correct spelling or check? Would you be able to ask it to spell a word for you to check that it's correct? What is that sort of usability like at this stage?
Absolutely, and maybe I can just quickly uh, let's see if it works. I like to put the product to test very
Oh,
quickly.
that's brave.
Good morning, Sriram.
Lumen, I am trying to find the contact for Lois, Lois. Can you please find that for me?
Yeah, I found Lois. The contact I have is Lois at loisstrachan.com.
Yeah, could you please send them an email and just say, "Hi, Lois, just sending you an email during our podcast. This is quite exciting."
Laughed for Lois. Wrote, "Hi, Lois, just sending you an email during our podcast. This is quite exciting. Ready to send?"
Yes, please.
That's sent. What else can I help with?
There you go. So I think, yeah, you absolutely can. So Lumen will try as much as it can, and then you can absolutely dictate it. And once it knows it, it'll remember it. That's how it works.
Perfect. Thanks for that. I know it's always a tough question, but tell me a little bit about the security. How, what is the aspects of privacy and security, and how are those being built into the system?
Absolutely. It's a very big point for us. Couple of things. One is today we don't. So one question that users ask us a lot is, it's a voice product. Do you save the voice recordings? The answer is no. So we don't store any of the voice recordings. It's just utilized during the call and then deleted as soon as the call is done. The way Lumen accesses your email is through a secure bridge that is owned and connected by Google. And so it follows all of Google's security policies and practices. And that's how we get access to your emails. Users at any point of time have the ability to go and disconnect their Gmail from our app by themselves. You can just go to google.com and there's a link where you can just go and unbundle it. Third, when we get access to these emails, we don't store any of your emails within our servers, so we don't have access to any sort of private information. We use it uh, during the processing. So if you want to summarize it or if you want to send out a new email, we will use it temporarily and then just delete it. Finally, all we have sort of stored within our system is uh, is users, but not based on their name. So every user would be assigned, say, an alphanumeric value that is not like, think about it as a user ID or like a serial number that is not connected to your actual email ID. And all we know internally is user ID, let's just call it 0123, has come in today, sent a few emails, received a few emails, and taken action. We don't know what the exact contents were. We don't know the names. We don't know the email IDs. And the reason why we collect the data that we collect is just to make sure that our systems are working properly and there are no hiccups. So if we see that like users are having trouble reading their emails, we would go in and fix it, but we don't know what their email content actually has.
Great. Thank you for clarifying that. So, how do you see Lumen fitting in beside the other existing tools like screen readers? I realize that it's doing a slightly different job, as it were, but is this another tool that can be used? Yeah, I mean, how do you see it fitting alongside the other existing tools that are out there?
I think for users who are not screen reader proficient, and I definitely know that there's a lot of users like that who especially users who use magnification. And the problem with magnification is you want things to be really big, but once text starts becoming really big, and if you have a long email, that's just an absolute nightmare to keep scrolling down, and you can essentially read one word per sentence, and at some point of time, it starts becoming really tough. And so, for those vast majority of users who are over time losing their vision or over time having a neurodivergent condition, we think of them using our product uh, uh, as an easy way to get through their emails, get through their work. A lot of our early users use Lumen first thing in the morning on the way to work. They use it just so that they can get their inbox cleared out and they can set up their calendars and do everything else so that when they get to work, they can get into actual work and not worry about emails piling up. Users also use it kind of at the end of the day as a nice little, when you're sort of getting back from work. So commute is a big use case. Using it at home before heading out to work is a big use case. And we're slowly seeing users also getting comfortable using it in the middle of work. There was a little concern about, hey, if I'm talking during the day at my work, would it feel a little strange? But with the amount of different speech to text kind of tools coming up in the market, it's becoming more and more of a habit where users are doing it. And because you also have the ability to kind of speak really with a low voice with these products these days, you can actually get away with it. So users are using it in a variety of different ways, but these are the primary use cases.
So let's talk a little bit about the timing of the launch and what your expectations are around that. When are you planning on or hoping to launch the product for users?
Uh, we're getting close. We're hoping to be on the App Store within the next few weeks. Uh, uh, Somewhere around between May and June, we should be on the App Store. Users can come to luminade.ai and join the waitlist, and that's how we'll keep them updated. But the idea really is we first started by working with a small cohort of users just to make sure that the product is quick, reliable. We've put a lot of effort in making sure that it's extremely screen reader accessible. We make sure that we support very large fonts that users with low vision may have set up. So a lot of just going the extra mile to make sure that it is one of the most accessible products out there took a bit of time, but we are pretty confident that we are there, and we'll sort of iron out the remaining issues within the next few weeks. So the idea is users should be able to join our waitlist right now and expect to hear from us about a product launch within the next sort of 4 to 8 weeks.
Is Lumen available, going to be available on Android, on iOS? What are the platforms that you see it rolling out on?
We're starting with iPhones, but we will absolutely roll this out on Android and eventually even on the desktop.
And is there a way for people to get involved in the early testing or the beta testing side? Do you have people that, are you happy to have people reach out and share their experiences with you to help in the beta testing?
Absolutely, we've been building with the community since day one, and if you head on to our website luminade.ai and add your email to the waitlist, you should receive an email which also has which has instructions on how you can join our early access program. And the way that works today is you will find in that email a link to a Zoom scheduler where you can set up 10 minutes with me or someone from my team, and we will personally get you onboarded. The reason why we like to do this one on one right now is that this helps us learn a lot about who our users are. We want to make sure that you're onboarded properly. If we can, before we open it up to self serve, we want to make sure we catch any issues that come our way. And this is the way that users can join our early access program. And for anyone who joins it, the service is free.
Thank you for sharing that. So you've given us the website, luminade.ai. If people want to reach out to you and connect with you individually, how can they do that?
In many ways. Firstly, you can email me. I'm Sriram, that's my first name, SRIRAM @luminade.ai. That's my email. Feel free to reach out to me. Second, you can find me on LinkedIn. My ID is Sriram Ganesh, my first name, my last name, SRIRAM GANESH, and it's the same on X. So you can find me anywhere.
Thank you so much for that. And we'll add those links into the episode descriptions for both the podcast and for YouTube as well. So then, as a final question, what would you like people to do as a result of this conversation?
Firstly, I think, of course, I do this out of my own sort of selfish reasons to sort of spread the word of the product that I'm building. But as someone who has gone through the low vision condition, I'm still going through it. I just, one of the reasons why I do these podcasts is also to sort of give hope to people that there are lots of tools out there. So, stay an active listener of podcasts like this to kind of learn about new things. Do not lose hope. We are living in the best times possible for us to find aids for conditions that we may have. And I think it's going to be while AI is taking over the whole world, I think AI has the opportunity to really uplift not just the floor, but like to lift the ceiling for people with disabilities, because there are a whole lot of new tools coming out there that are coming out there for the first time for everyone. And I would really urge people within the community to keep abreast of everything that's going on, and B, do not lose hope. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming where our lives will get a lot better. And so it's just a message of positivity, and like, let's not give up.
Thank you so much for chatting us today, Sriram, and for telling us a little bit about Lumen. We wish you success with the launch of Lumen and with your company Luminade. And for just as a reminder to hop onto luminade.ai, where you can sign up as a beta tester to give input into some of the design and usability or the functionality of Lumen. And to also, there you'll be able to sign up to be kept in contact with the progress of the launch of Lumen, the app. For those who are interested in finding out more about my work, you can hop onto loisstrachen.com. And if you like what I'm doing here on A Different Way of Seeing, you can help to support the continued creation of more of these conversations by hopping onto coffee.com/A Different Way of Seeing. That's ko-fi.com/A Different Way of Seeing. Sriram Ganesh, thank you so much for joining us today, and we are so looking forward to using and benefiting from Lumen.
Thank you so much, Lois. Thank you for having me, and keep up your great work.
Thank you.